The Bears beat down the Raiders. The Raiders have been winning some games that, you look at against the Patriots, you look at against the Packers, and all of a sudden you go, wow, Raiders are kind of hanging in there. Then they just lay an egg today.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, they went with Brian Hoyer. They did not go with Aiden O'Connell until it was much too late. And he did lead them down there for that touchdown to get you the over. What are the Raiders doing now with Jimmy G and his back? And look, I'm not saying Jimmy G. I'm not going to keep carrying the torch for Jimmy G, but he is such an upgrade, and it's apparent when he doesn't play what the other guys look like. I don't know who's going to play quarterback next week, but the Lions are going to be pissed off, I can tell you that.
Yeah, they are. And, waited the entire show for me to say that Josh McDaniels committed absolute coaching malpractice today.
Boom.
By not starting Aiden O'Connell instead of Brian Hoyer. And he was, had this soundbite, and I quote tweeted, I was like, wait a minute. You've got a guy that has played on 9 teams over 14 years, and credit to Brian Hoyer for staying employed as a backup quarterback in this league. That shows you he has some value in the locker room. But, man, you kind of know who this guy is, and you drafted Aiden O'Connell. And all I heard all summer was like, oh, we really like him, we really like him. And McDaniel says at the podium after the game today, hey, this is not preseason.
What was that?
Dude. You got to figure out. I mean, you don't know what Jimmy G long term in terms of his injuries is going to be. Put this kid out there on the road, even though it was against the Bears, it's still a road game in the NFL. Let's see what the kid can do. I thought he was actually solid against the Chargers. I know he threw a late pick, but
absolutely, that's the part that is just mind-boggling to me. And then those comments, if you're Aiden O'Connell,
I'd be like, man, I'm busting my what
you guys
every
drafted
single
me,
day.
this is the way you feel about me?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty harsh language coming from a head coach. And I know he's upset. They just lost the game. He doesn't want the decision question about why starting Brian Hoyer. There's no way I could back the Raiders next week against an angry Lions team.
No, I wouldn't either. And the Lions, I think, are absolutely a teaser leg. I wouldn't be surprised if this moved into the teaser protection range.
I'm surprised it hasn't already.
Yeah, Lions, by the way, just a different animal at home. Jared Goff, much better, 27-13 against the number indoors. I think he's now 33-32 outdoors. Fast building there at Ford Field. Second time they're hosting Monday Night Football since 2014. So this is a big deal in Detroit. This actually is going to be a really big deal here. So, I think you got to look at Detroit.
Absolutely.
Today was, and the reason why I like Baltimore, today was a really bad spot and a good sell spot, at least temporarily, for the Lions. It was windy in Baltimore, Goff outdoors, David Montgomery wasn't there. They were banged up. All, in the running back core, had to activate somebody from the practice squad. So I think Detroit, we'll see if they can get a little bit healthier next week. See if they can get a couple of the receivers back. Montgomery's going to be out indefinitely, but
at least Gibbs got some. I know it was garbage time, but he did get the late touchdown. He did have 68 yards and 11 carries, despite Goff having to throw it 53 times, and then out of the backfield, 9 catches. So for 58 yards.
Yeah.
So maybe they're getting him going. Even in a loss, I'm sure that's what Dan Campbell was looking at.
Yeah, and look, I think Detroit is still very good. Like, you don't want to oversell. I sold them temporarily. It was like selling off some shares. That doesn't mean you have to sell your whole portfolio.
Right.
Necessarily. You're day traders, basically, and that's what you are if you're betting NFL week to week, and that's what you really have to be.
Normally don't like to lay these type of numbers, but for me right now, I'm looking at that 7.5 in Detroit. That actually feels like a number.
Yeah, because I felt like the Raiders, even though they were 500 coming in today, they were a fraudulent team, and I think that got shown today.
They got exposed, and maybe so too did the head coach.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.